Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's G here. I am still in my bedroom. I've left since the last video and everything, but I'm back in my bedroom working on another crochet project. And honestly, I haven't had much time, and I've been trying on the weekends to take some time for myself, and unfortunately that means I'm in my bed. Look in my pajamas still, so excuse me. But welcome back to my channel. And today, I have a few other social media platforms, and I don't talk a lot about my partner, kind of on purpose, because I don't like to be one of those people whose relationship, especially because it's like interracial or whatever, becomes so much of a focus. So I purposely don't talk that much about my partner. But when I do, the one thing that happens is that I get comments like I have internalized racism, right? And I find it interesting. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit today. Do we have like little tidbits of internalized racism for those of us Black women, I'm going to talk about mostly, who are with non-Black partners? Guys, subscribe to my channel and let's have a little chat. Okay, so if you guys aren't following me on all my platforms, shame on you. But I do have a few others, right? And sometimes I talk about raising biracial children and just kind of multicultural things that happen to me regularly that I don't get a chance to talk about here on YouTube. But anyway, I can't remember exactly. Oh yeah, I do. So I did a TikTok about the joke of Black women who are with white partners having bad wigs. I did a TikTok about this, right? And I pointed out that for me personally, when I was dating, the only men who had issues with my natural hair happened to be Black men. Like, they would make comments about, oh, you'd be so much prettier if you straighten your hair. Do you straighten your hair sometimes? I'd love to see you with straight hair. I bet you look good. Like those kind of ways where they try and get you to appease their little fantasies or whatever, right? Like, almost always from Black men. There was never a time when I was with someone who was not Black where they even commented on my hair other than like saying they thought it was beautiful or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, outside of that, there was no suggestions. And so I make a video talking about this, and of course I get some comments saying that I was anti-Black or that I had internalized racism, which for me is kind of the same thing, because to internalize racism you have to be anti-Black. Which I'm kind of like, really? Do you see what I talk about here? But whatever. What's curious about it, however, is that, guess who leaves me these comments more than anyone else? Black men, and interestingly enough, white women. And I'm just like, okay. So the thing that is really funny to me is that first, if you look at me, I'm pretty much quintessentially how they say, Black women hate themselves because they wear straight hair. I've not straightened my hair since I was a teenager. And they'll say things like, oh, they have too much makeup, they have too much this. I don't do any of those things, right? I'm not overly made up. I'm a pretty simple girl. So I don't present those things. And then they will go on and, say, like all of these things that I'm just like, well, for a black woman, the way they describe, you know, the types of black women who love themselves, I fit pretty well inside of that. And the only other thing they can say is that my partner is not black, right? So that in and of itself makes me anti-black. Makes me hate myself, makes me have internalized racism. Even though, you know, I'm not doing anything that supports that. So it goes back to people defining women through the man that they are with. And very rarely do you hear other black men tell black men who specifically seek out fair-skinned women, white women, whatever, you know, who are colorist or whatever. Really, I don't really hear many black men telling black men who hate on black women to uplift their snow bunnies, right? I don't hear people constantly hitting them with that anti-black shit, right? Or internalized racism, which they often actually do have. So it's just coming down to how people define women more than anything else through the men that they're with. Because regardless of my life experiences, all that I have done and accomplished before I even met this person, it just comes down to he is not who we say you should be with in order to prove to us, because it's about them, prove to us that you love yourself. And I am here to say that ultimately I feel like if I am pro me, I am pro black. Full stop and period. I don't need to be pro anyone else, even though I am pro black woman. I am, you know, pro black love in the sense of loving myself and everyone loving themselves for being who they are, because that's all I need to be. So I don't need to come out here and try and support every black person to be pro-black, as long as I am pro-me. And I don't even disparage black men. Despite all the statistics, despite hearing some of the things I hear on social media, I was listening to something, and I can't remember where it was, but where it was some black man who was calling for the death of all black women. He was literally saying that shit. And, you know, I'm just like, I don't hear any other groups of men attacking women like this, attacking women that birthed them like this, attacking women who kept them alive, make the stupidity that is in their brain so public, right? I mean, I'm sure those women are regretting their choice in keeping that person alive, because they're literally calling for their death. But despite all of those things, I don't really talk that much about black men in comparison to anything else. I talk about them sometimes as it relates to black women, and that's like what I was just talking about right now. But other than that, like, what the fuck do I have to say about them? You know, I'm trying to raise my sons. I've raised a black son to be a black man, who I think is a beautiful human, and I'm trying to raise 2 more to be beautiful humans. So I'm not interested in breaking down every man, because some of them are the worst things to walk the earth. But I ain't trying to fuck with most of them either. So, you know, there's that. I'm just like, you do you, just leave me out of it kind of thing. And I'm gonna do me. And I don't think that I could ever, because there are men in my life who happen to be black that I love, and I would never talk about them in that way. I would never call for the extermination of them because, you know, my mama and daddy didn't love me enough, right? Because that's what it comes down to. And most of these dudes blame their mothers, but they got You know, they are the way they are because they hate their moms. They hate their moms because their dad didn't stay with them. You know, and they blame her for whatever reason. That's it. You know, that's what it comes down to. But yeah, I don't think, obviously, that you have to have internalized racism to date out. I don't think that you do. I think that if you have started prioritizing your needs and yourself, what you really want in life, and you still want a partner, then you just open yourself up to whoever is fulfilling you as a human being. And I think that for us Black women, it's taken a lot of like evolution in our ancestry and our DNA to start realizing the truth of what that might mean. It just might mean you have to open yourself up to everybody and see what happens, right? And I did that, I think from like early when I started dating. I mean, I still was, I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those Black women, girls that always figured I'll date whoever, but I'll probably end up with a Black man, right? Like, that was the thing that set in my head forever. Even though I always, like, the first guy that really pursued me was Mexican. And I remember, I thought he was cute. He had a really nice car. He was really a great gentleman, but I couldn't fuck with him because I couldn't mess with that dude, honestly, because the girl he was dating, this is high school, okay? So the girl he was dating before, like, they had just broke up, she was kind of like the girl in school with the bad reputation, you know? And so I wasn't messing around at the time. So I was like, well, if he's trying to pursue me, he's going to be expecting sex. Like, and I really wasn't trying to fuck him. So because I was like, that's going to be his baseline expectation because, and of course, this is the young mind before, you know, we evolve into women and understand even back then that slut shaming and all that shit was wrong, and that even if she was doing it, like, it's none of my business, you know, and I'm me and whatever. So like, this was before all of that, before my evolution. I was, you know, like 15 or something. Anyway, I mean, I would hang out with him a little bit, but you know, I couldn't. And then my mom was weird too, like, you know, so I couldn't like really mess with him. Like, I had to keep my distance. But it let me know at an early age, like, yeah, I can say whoever I want to date, you know, and do whatever I want to do. And I guess, you know, in high school, I wasn't thinking about like long term, and I hadn't been thinking about that for a really long time, to be honest with you. But I just realized, you know what, eventually, you know, you marry a Black man. Like, that's what you do. Like, I never considered anything else. But then it was just like, my needs became more important. My well-being and all of those things. So as I opened myself up more, it just became whoever treats me the best. Because I was always like somebody who dated multiple people at a time. So if we weren't committed, and I needed you to, you know, make that be real, I would see other people. So a lot of times I would be dating a Black guy and maybe a couple other different ethnicities of guys. And I actually remember this guy I really liked, this Black guy I really liked and really had hope for. We were out. He was taking me out, and this dude, we chatting. And we had been like going back and forth for a while, right? And so he was chatting, and he was like, you know, I'm just surprised you haven't settled down with like, you know, a white dude. I'm pretty sure like they would be happy to be with you or something like that. And I was kind of like, this is a Black man telling me this. Wow. So like ultimately the bottom line was he was like, I ain't gonna do it. Somebody else might, but ain't gonna beat me. So I was like, okay, I got you, bro. But it wasn't even like a thing in that like where he was the one, because I dated black men after him. So but it was an interesting thing, and that just, I think that was another sign for me. It was just like, girl, if you just do be with who is going to take care of you, who's going to give you your needs and all of those things, who's going to try. So yeah, like the low effort thing, I was just like, that's what it became. That's what it became. And if that's internalized racism, okay. I'm pro-black because I'm pro-me. I am pro-black love because I love me. And that's all that it needs to be. Guys, subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to talking to you guys in the comments. And ciao for now.
For good day, I'ma see you by they 50. Then I told them